will bring a knowledge to the administrative position, and will be able to continue the work. Right now, this board, I said before, as a majority of this board, has selected more people to be in administration with the idea that we truly are, that our administrative staff has a tremendous amount of work to do. And that work only gets greater as we deal with the number of things that are coming from our state and federal government. And so the argument that I make is for an external candidate, and although, like I said, the number 2 position has gone to an internal candidate. My number 2 ranking, I'm sorry.
Other comments? Seeing none, mark your ballots.
Chair,
Mm-hmm.
point
Two.
question of this process. And I'll give the numbers, 1, D1, B2, A3. With that said, when we're down to 2 candidates, I would feel a lot more comfortable about this process if we started using names, because then I think we're down to finalists. And we're talking about, but we can't do that? Okay, very good.
Non-candidates can be involved.
Okay,
According to the memo.
okay.
I actually asked the county attorney during the break, what time should we be
Just
in a
making
position
sure.
to be able to
Thank
do
you.
this?
Okay, another clarification on that, Mr. Chair. Are we going to send 1, or could we send 2 names to the board for more adequate debate?
It would be my guess, and I would ask the board just to, no, let's put the numbers down, and then we'll decide that particular question, okay? Because it's a valid
You have to
question.
be determined. Is something wrong with it?
Well, yeah,
What?
there's something very wrong with it. Where's the vote then, that's gonna take place tomorrow?
If
If
we
we're
said-
not voting here, and you get it down
No,
one
no.
candidate, how do you vote
I said,
for your
I would like-
choice? How do you have a
He
choice?
said 2.
I think it should be 2.
That's what I'm saying, so
Absolutely.
you react against it. against
Send
what I
your,
said.
send your ballots over on this one. Send your ballots over on this
No,
one.
these have to be allowed.
I did mine
Absolutely
all
not.
out.
I think you're supposed to do them out loud, I think you are.
Okay,
I did mine all out.
So that it's,
in that
so
case,
that
Commissioner
it's
O'Neill, you're
clear.
next. I'm gonna select, I gotta tell you, I wanna make sure that nobody's cheating here. One way to cheat is to change your votes until the very last. So I'm gonna move things around a little bit, just to make sure I don't catch anybody cheating. Commissioner
Pencils
O'Neill.
down.
Pencils down.
There you go.
ACT test.
number 1.
Remember when you took the
A is
ACT
number
test,
2.
pencils down?
D is number 1.
Okay.
D is number 3.
Let's see, Commissioner?
B is 1, A is 2, B is 3.
Okay. Commissioner?
A is 1, B is 2, D is 3.
Commissioner?
B is 1, A is 2, D is 3.
Commissioner?
1 is D, 2 is A, 3 is B.
Okay. And mine is A is 1, D is 2, B is 3. we have, and this would not be a typical at this point, folks, you're down to numbers. You have A with 15, B with 13, and C with 14, or D with 14. It would be my recommendation at this particular point that you drop number B. Is there any objections?
I think it's all too close.
Submit all
You want another
the
round? You can have another round,
I can submit all the names tomorrow for a vote.
but tomorrow you have to
Then we
have,
can,
tomorrow you have to have a process in front of the county board in order to achieve the end. And you still will be in this position because you will have not identified a name at that particular point because according to the memo, there's at least a candidate here who is an internal candidate. And without that selection, I mean, if you read the document that came in from the board from last week, it says, make a recommendation, Commissioner Forsman.
Mr. Chair, I think this board right now is going through a process that whether, you know, that not everybody is going to get their way. I may not get my way. But the thing is, and it is possible, but the thing is, we're also in a process that everybody on this board is getting a chance to take and do it without the politics. I mean, I think that anyone, now, if this board feels that they need to have a night so that they can have, be lobbied or done, something can happen, or they can get whatever happens, fine, that's okay. But at this, and then go through the same process again tomorrow. But I think we have the opportunity right now, and we have the charge to continue on. And I think that we should continue on. I think we've gone, but whatever, that's just my thoughts. So I'm in very much in favor of continuing on. And like I said, if I don't get my way, I'll lick my wounds and I'll go on.
Okay. Commissioner Sweeney, you want to make an argument?
no.
Commissioner O'Neill, you want to make an argument? We're moving on. 13 is eliminated. Now, we're in an opportunity for a debate. You will get until 3:30 at the maximum to debate the candidates that are left. Who should begin the debate? Commissioner Sweeney?
Well, I think there is one candidate up there who has a very intimate knowledge of our budget, has been the person who has prepared it. In regards to what happens here, I suppose it will be the person who will end up preparing it again. The other person who is up there has knowledge of only one budget in the past number of years, ever since they've been an administrator, and the work and the change, and it really has very little knowledge of the changes that have been made over the last year even, and there's been some big changes made in our budget. And therefore, I believe that that candidate, which is number A, is by far the most qualified candidate to do this job as the interim administrator.
Commissioner Nelson?
Thank you, Chair, Commissioner Finn. One of the things that I think is really important for any person in the administrative position is to have a very broad range of knowledge, not only of the issues as they exist within St. Louis County government, but also of the issues that are out in the community. Communication with and knowledge of all of the powers that be within St. Louis County being a big concern of mine, to someone that can get out and communicate with everyone. And with that, I just see that as a greater strength. You know, when you look down that list of numbers, on the last list, there was only 2 commissioners that had the exact same 3 numbers. Out of 7 people, only 2 commissioners had the same 3 picks. And it has to tell you something, that everyone on this board sees strengths throughout this field. It has to say that. I think there was a lot of strength in this entire field. And that's why you're seeing it that close. But when I get down to this, I personally am at my first and fourth candidate. That's where my numbers are. So I've clearly made my decision as to who I believe would be the best for the entirety of this job. And again, I think it's important that as we look at that interim position, I happen to really be with, alongside Commissioner O'Neill here on interim, someone who's willing to come in and work that interim position for however long that may be. I'm comfortable with whatever it takes to put something together to look for a permanent individual to fill this position. But as far as strength for someone who could jump in and do this job from day one, both candidates could do it. In fact, all four candidates could do it. But my decision has not changed. I'm still with D as my number one.
Commissioner O'Neill?
Well, I would echo a lot of what Commissioner Sweeney said, and I think that A has a lot of experience, a broad wealth of experience, both broad range of experience, both educationally and work experience, and